Second, I will fight against the prince of Persia, and when I go, the prince of Greece will come. Look at verses 12 and 13. The man continued, "Do not be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them. But the prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days. Then Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me because I was detained there with the king of Persia." Daniel had prayed for 21 days, but no answer came to him. Maybe he thought that this time God did not hear his prayer. But that's not the case. Since the first day when he set his mind and started his prayer, God already heard his prayer and sent his answer by sending this amazingly holy one to him personally. When Daniel prayed wholeheartedly, God could have answered him by giving in his heart the impression, saying, "I have heard your prayer, don't worry." God could have done so, but God did not think it proper for Daniel, because in God's eyes, Daniel was so great. That kind of treatment was not proper in God's eyes. So instead, he chose to send this high-ranking angel, or even his son Jesus, to give him the answer personally. Indeed, Daniel was esteemed highly. The Bible shows that God honors those who honor him. Look at verse 13. Let's read this verse together. Let's go. But the prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days. Then Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me because I was detained there with the king of Persia. When Christians read this passage, they are really confused. The prince of Persia, the Persian kingdom, the king of Persia, and then the angel was detained by them. Here the prince of the Persian kingdom, or the king of Persia, refers to the ruler of evil spirits in charge of the territory of the Persian kingdom. How does that sound? That sounds so mysterious. Maybe at least many people are lost. What's going on here? That I understand that. I was like that too. But this is really true. The Apostle Paul shows that Satan's kingdom is well organized. Many people think that if they just show the Bible to Satan or demons, they will run away quickly. Or they show them the wooden cross, and then they are freaked out and they run away. Only in children's movies you can see that kind of thing, but that's not the real thing. Ephesians chapter 6 says, "Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes." The devil, Satan, has great schemes to deceive you, tempt you, and destroy you. Great schemes. He's very wise. For our struggle is not against the flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in heavenly realms. Here, rulers, authorities, powers, and the spiritual forces all refer to evil spirits, but their level is different. Rulers are like kings or presidents, and authorities are like senators or commissioners, and powers are like judges, And the spiritual forces are like FBI agents, sheriffs, or police, or soldiers. In this way, under Satan, all the evil spiritual world is well organized. So, if there was the ruler of the Persian kingdom, then we can understand that there was the ruler of the Babylonian kingdom, and there was the ruler of the Egyptian kingdom. In the same way, we can understand that there is a ruler for a country or a nation. There are many countries and many nations, and there are rulers. And under them, there are governors, city mayors, and sheriffs. That way, enemy's kingdom is well organized. So there is an evil spirit in charge of maybe California. There is an evil spirit in charge of South Bay. Even there is an evil spirit in charge of, we can say, El Camino College. Instead of fighting with the humans, blood and flesh, with humans, that person bothers me, so I attack and retaliate. Not that kind of fight we are engaged in. So our fight is not against flesh and blood. So instead of fighting with the humans, we must fight against these rulers, authorities, powers of this dark world, and the spiritual forces of evil in the spiritual realms, and we must defeat them. Once we defeat them, what happens? We see that strangely, God's kingdom work goes very smoothly in that region. People become responsive to God's words. Salvation work goes powerfully. New disciples rise and new churches are established. Not only the one who defeated that ruler or authority or power, but also all God's people in that area become successful in doing God's work. They simply because that area, that region is disarmed. So God's people can march into that area and reap the harvest, reap the benefits of the real fight this man, the man had, the person who defeated the ruler or authority or power. Thus, God's kingdom rises powerfully in that region because the rulers or authorities or powers are removed. That's why sometimes we see that in one country, great repentance movement rises. The ruler is removed. So the whole country, their great repentance movement rises. Amazing thing occurs. Or sometimes in a certain region, maybe California, or in Los Angeles County, great work of God occurs. Sometimes in one campus, CSLB, El Camino College. It means that someone defeated the ruler or authority or the power in that area. Sometimes we go and do God's work in a certain area, and suddenly, strangely, everything goes wonderfully. Great work of God occurs. Why? Because someone else already defeated that ruler. And thereby the whole area is disarmed for Christians to go and reap the harvest. Jesus says, when a strong man, fully armed, guards his own house, his possessions are safe. But when someone stronger attacks and overpowers him, he takes away the armor in which the man trusted and divides up the spoils. This is how the spiritual world goes. The real spiritual battle is going on. And God is looking for those warriors of faith to rise, who can wage a war against those rulers, authorities, and powers of this dark world. They are the ones through whom God's kingdom advances into enemy's territory powerfully. Because of them, then God has a chance to accelerate the world history, His redemption plan. Because of them, God suddenly ends one empire and starts the next one. Indeed, they are mighty warriors in God's eyes. Don't you want to be used by God that way? Don't you want to wage war against those rulers and then defeat them? Then, how can it be such mighty warriors for God's kingdom work? Some people just go out and hand out the gospel tracts. So what happens? Nothing happens. Long time ago, when I was still young in Korea, I was a little confused. So one day, I made a firm decision that I would live for God. I would dedicate myself to God. Then I thought that the enemy Satan was alarmed, and he would do a lot of things to discourage me. But nothing happened, and no one bothered me. I was confused. Why? Because even though I made a decision, my dedication and what I could do, Satan did not care really. I was just nobody, nothing, and no matter what I said, he just left me alone. Satan's kingdom is well organized. They have rules, and then they have the principle and strategy and tactic. And sometimes we go to campus and then struggle to do God's work, fishing and Bible studies. But strangely, things do not go very well. Year after year, we remain fruitless. Sometimes a sheep grows well. Then something happens, and then the sheep is gone. It happens continuously. It's why? See, eventually, the real battle we have not won yet against the rulers, authorities, and powers in that area. Because of that, Satan, the enemies, guards their property very well. So we cannot plunder the spoils. So how can we be such dangerous weapons for God's kingdom work? That's what Daniel's example shows. So pay attention to Daniel's real dedication to God. How he sought God absolutely as the matter of life and death. He had a real zeal and passion for God that he would not slow down or compromise, even though there might be great challenges and dangers, despite rejections, despite some persecutions, despite some hardships. He would not slow down at all. Just like a bulldozer, just like a spiritual tank, he would go on continually, over and over, and eventually this person would do God's work powerfully. That's how Daniel served God's work. Such dedication to God, such zeal and passion for God, such wholehearted pursuit of God. These are the secrets that had made Daniel a dangerous weapon for God. When he sought God that way, he was not the dead, but of the living. He was the living. And God became his God. When he sought God that way, he was the one who was serving God in spirit, just like Joshua and Caleb. And thereby, God could work with him freely. revealing His glory to the world and advancing His kingdom work very powerfully. This is how we can rise as mighty warriors for God too. This is how we can wage a war against the rulers, authorities, and powers of this dark world. Actually, Jesus talks about this in the Bible continuously. He says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. That kind of complete dedication to God, that's what Jesus is talking about. Jesus also talks about a kernel of wheat that falls to the ground and dies. What is he talking about? The same thing. That kind of complete dedication to God's will and God's purpose, even willing to die. Jesus also says, anyone who loves me or who loves his father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves his son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And anyone who does not take his cross and follow me is not worthy of me. What is Jesus talking about? Exactly the same thing. Such complete dedication that this person will not be distracted or will not slow down only because of his father or mother or his son or daughter at all. Instead, what? This person will pursue God's will absolutely. This person is the one who serves God in spirit. And God seeks those people. This person is the one that is living, not dead. Jesus says, God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. When you become the living this way, God becomes your God, and through you, He does mighty works of God, revealing His glory to the world. At that time, amazing things occur through you because of God's power in your life. This is what the Bible is talking about, the Old Testament and the New Testament. This is the whole thing, really.